I mentioned Bank of Industry, we mentioned the Federal Mortgage Bank, we have mentioned all of these banks where young Nigerians who are interested in pursuing an entrepreneurial path will have to access funding based on the soundness of the ideas that they propose, not who they know, not where their father is from, not where they worship. And now we feel that if you allow the credit within the economy, if you allow the resources within the economy to be so evenly distributed within our people, you can begin to drive away poverty and create wealth. If we unleash the Bank of Agriculture to drive agriculture in the north, for example, all right, we're going to feed the country. And the net effect of that is that the inflation on food items as you have them today will crash. Here in America, as you well know, sometimes the government pays farmers to produce less in order to control prices. Now, that's what capitalism does. Now, for us, we are not even going to do that. We are going to trigger massive production to ensure that there is enormous supply for the people of Nigeria and the people of West Africa, quite frankly, all right, and then drive away hunger. Now, on education, I want to touch on every part. I'm trying
please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Now, because that's part of what we propose for the economy. Now, again, we feel that when you unleash energy, when you unleash the resources to our people, and then when you provide security, very important. When they have the confidence that they can leave their homes, go and engage in productive ventures and return without anybody kidnapping them, harassing them, killing them, all right, then you are going to spur that massive productivity that we're all looking for. And how are we going to bring about security? I've explained in the past that insecurity as you have it today in the country is a product of a combination of factors. And most of these factors are rooted in historical injustices, all right? Political injustices, economic injustices. So the nation is massively unequal. You have less than 3% of the population controlling about 85%, if not more, of the nation's resources. So you have the massive 97%, all right, angling for the remaining 15%. And that's why the competition is stiff. Everybody's trying to get the better of the other person. People are attacking people right, left, center. We are pushing for economic egalitarianism. And that's why we say we're socializing the economy. We're not saying rich people can't exist or that they shouldn't exist. We're just saying that you can't get rich off the resources of the Nigerian people. You can do your own private thing, and if you are good enough and you make a lot of money, fine. The government will set up infrastructure, support everybody within the economy. But we are going to liberalize the economic space. It's going to be a level playing field. And how are we going to do this? We're going to inject wealth directly into social safety nets. We have unemployment pay, even though we intend to eradicate unemployment, but that's just to ensure that for those who are unable to work, not unwilling to work, those who are unable to work, maybe because of health problems or some sort of disability, they have a basket to follow. All right. We have a welfare scheme for the elderly. All right. They don't really have to rely on their children who are then pushed into unnecessary pressure and then engage on social vices just to keep up with their parents. The government is going to have stipends for elderly people. The AAC government is going to have stipends for elderly people all over Nigeria. We're going to have stipends for our students in the universities, polytechnics and monotechnics, colleges of education, all the tertiary institutions across the country. And we have said this. And I explained some time ago that why are we doing this? Because we know that to ignite economic activity, all right, you have to increase your people's purchasing power. You have to put the money directly in the hands of the ordinary people of Nigeria. That way, they go to the market to buy things. When they buy things, those businesses that are selling those things, all of a sudden will have a breath of life. All right, you trigger them because the people patronizing them have the ability to patronize them. And I explained some time ago that way you also tackle unemployment. If you give the young man in the university a stipend, apart from the fact that he doesn't have to worry about paying tuition or not, now all of the businesses surrounding the campuses, all right, will start to do well. They can hire more people. They can take youths off the streets, which will prevent them from joining criminality and crime. Now, we're going to level the playing field that way. Now, the other thing we're going to do is that the commanding sectors of the economy that we have talked about, nationalizing, all right, we're going to create a co-ownership system, where the Nigerian people, again, directly own this, sometimes in conjunction with, maybe if you have host communities or maybe the other elements that are directly interested in such ventures. Now, why are we doing this? Because we believe that just like they have in the Nordic states, and you've heard our presidential candidate give this example on several occasions. In 2016, I had the opportunity to meet the Norwegian ambassador to the United States. And then I spoke with him briefly, and I asked him, sir, because I looked at the indices. Norway was doing exceptionally well. As at that time, the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, drawn from Norwegian oil and gas, was worth over $1 trillion, whereas Nigeria was struggling with external reserves of about 24 billion naira. All right. Now, the question I asked him, how are you guys able to do this? You produce oil. I know you're a smaller state, but you produce resources just like Nigeria. What is different? And what he told me is that for every barrel of crude that is sold, refined crude now, not raw crude, for every barrel of oil or gas, every cubic feet of gas sold by the Norwegian state, every Norwegian citizen has a percentage that is credited to them directly. That is collective ownership. We are not going to think of privatizing and selling the NPC. No, we're going to create a national oil company that refines oil, supplies the Nigerian people, sells to the rest of the world, and the money collected will be credited, portions of credit to the Nigerian people directly. That way, my brother, you are eliminating poverty. Look, we have told you before that it is not rocket science, and we made it. We made the whole idea of making making governance so complex is a trick of the ruling class to make ordinary people believe that, oh, this thing is so hard, so that when they come out there, you start to heal them. It is just creating an efficient bureaucracy, all right, a structure that will serve the people. Once you have removed the elements of corruption and greed, which you are going to do by ensuring that everybody gets a fair shake. Everybody gets a fair shake. You shouldn't leave your office as a government worker fearing whether you're going to be able to pay the tuition of your children, because the AAC government is going to ensure that the schools are top standard and they are free. You are not going to be worried about the hospitals you can attend when you get sick, because you know that we have built world-class health facilities across the country. And we have put in place a universal health coverage system, making healthcare a right to every Nigerian, so that access and affordability does not cause our people to die. You hear instances of people going to hospitals and they say they have rejected them because they can't pay. And you say, look, our people die. People die needlessly. Nigerians die needlessly. You say, what does it mean to reject a person from a hospital? Isn't the hospital meant to treat people? It's only in a country that hears some of these absurd tales. So we are going to tackle those things directly. And we are confident that when we do this, and when you wake up every morning, knowing that your country is for you, your country works for you, your country leaders are thinking about you, then you are not going to go to that office thinking of helping the politician to steal money. You're also going to help us fight corruption. We're going to ensure that that is fixed. Now, we feel that when we have done this, which has leveled the economic playing field, insecurity will start to take care of itself. At least all of those people who are jumping into criminality because of economic reasons will take care of that first. Now, that leaves us with the minority who are facing criminality because they just want to be criminals. And what are we now going to do to these ones? We have said that we are going to restructure the architecture of our security in Nigeria. The Nigerian police, for example, we're not rephasing, we're not repainting as they've done it in the past. We're completely overhauling. All right. The average Nigerian policeman, as we have said, should feel himself a part of the Nigerian society. He's going to benefit from the wealth and prosperity of his society. He's going to job every morning. It's not to go and look for money. He's not going to look for what his children will eat that day by holding gun and collecting money from his fellow citizens. No, he knows that the AAC government would have provided for him a housing scheme that takes care of accommodation for him, a house that will be owned by him, not the one that he stays in a barrack. He knows that he has a healthcare scheme. He knows that he has a pension scheme that takes care of him when he retires, not the one that will be looted by anybody. Now, with that assurance, he knows that he's paid significantly. As a matter of fact, we have considered upwards of 300,000 naira as monthly pay for policemen because of the risk that their job entails. Now, we think that if you pay the Nigerian policeman an average of 300,000 per month, he doesn't enjoy staying on the road to collect money. It's dehumanizing. Now you're going to incentivize and stop him from doing that. Then you are going to train, equip, and then increase their ranks. So when we do this, then we can deploy them to check those who are into criminality for criminal sakes. Now the military We have said that the Nigerian military does not exist as a business endeavor for generals who are anxious about their future when they retire. The same package we have for the police, we have for the military. Nigerian soldiers will serve for the protection of the Nigerian people and the territorial integrity of the Nigerian state. Now, they will have the welfare that they need. They're not going to be at the war front confronting terrorists and they'll be complaining that they don't have weapons. No, not only are we going to equip them, we're going to set up a pan-Nigerian weapons production system backed by world-class research from Nigerian universities, Nigerian research centers, and Nigerian academics. Our reliance on foreign contributors or foreign countries for national security is going to gradually, come to an end. We want to have self-sufficiency. We can have cooperation, but look, my brother, it is 2023. Most of the knowledge you have, all right, is public source. It's open there. There's hardly, most of the weapons you have right now that we are buying, we're paying humongous amounts of money for. If we put money in education, young Nigerians who are very brilliant in our universities are going to craft you those weapons. All you have to do is produce it locally and deploy it for national defense. So we believe that when we have done this, professionalize the military, increase the level of discipline, give them the confidence to know that their country is behind them, they are going to chase away all these ragtag terrorists that you're talking about. I mean, look, what is the size of our country? All these so-called bandits who are hiding in forests. If you want to comb Nigerian forests today, deploying 21st century technology to rid it of any criminal who is hiding there to terrorize our people, is only a question of political will. So that's what we're going to do. And then finally, most of the conflicts on security, especially the intercommunal conflicts that you have up north, so-called Fulani herders attacking, attacking farmers and so-called indigenous people. We're going to bring an end to that. And please, the tribalization or ethnicization of criminality is something that we want to stop. And that's why you hardly hear us use the term Fulani herdsmen because yes, those herdsmen may be of Fulani extraction, all right? But not every Fulani man, woman, and child should be generalized into what they are doing. These individuals who carry out atrocities and killings, these are criminals. And it is the responsibility of the Nigerian state to deal with them and protect Nigerian people, both Fulani and non-Fulani, and not to start mentioning the name of their tribe as if they are being Fulani has anything to do, with the fact that the government could not protect its own people. All right. But what we intend to do is this: those of them who will not listen to reason, who will not listen to our appeal to reconcile, we want to reconcile them. Because remember, decades back, these communities coexisted. They intermarried. Their children went to school together. They celebrated Salah, Christmas, all of these things together. Nigerian communities were one and united. In fact, with the exception of the slight punctuation of the brutal 3-year civil war that we fought, most Nigerians generally love themselves and they're in tune with one another, So we want to build a system of, something even better than the South African Peace and Reconciliation Commission, where we reconcile Nigerian communities. I told you that in the Southeast, for example, all right, there is a lingering scar from the Nigerian civil war. And Nigerian politicians are very reluctant to address that. We are the only party addressing that. We feel that if we speak to that scar and we assure our people in that part of the country of their joint inheritance within the Nigerian state, the whole idea of self-determination, it will be a thing of the past. We know that everybody understands that Nigeria as a united country is better for everyone because it provides opportunities for everybody. So that is the last leg of what we're doing on security, because it's not just all stick. You have to bring the carrot. So when we have incentivized the service people and we have provided them what they need to act, and then we have removed significantly the economic basis for criminality, we now reconcile the communities that have been warring amongst themselves because of long-held feud. Now, if you do that, my brother, Nigeria is going to return to an oasis of peace, stability, progress, and prosperity. As a matter of fact, you will not even realize that this was the country that a short few years back, people thought, would collapse. It's a question of leadership. It's a question of vision. Then there are individuals, please, let me just say this on security. There are individuals, foreign entities, and I'm sure you have heard of these, that are deeply invested in the insecurity in Nigeria. Yeah. We understand that many of them are doing it because they want to mine solid minerals from the northern flank of the country. Now, why are they able to do this? Think about it. Which serious country will allow an external body, whoever they are, whoever, it doesn't matter who they are, all right, to come in and, collaborate with some local, riffraffs, cause instability, sow seeds of war, give your people weapons to fight while they cut away your... It is because you are weak. You are incapable of self-protection. And that's why I mentioned earlier that our strategy for national security is not singularly dependent on buying weapons. We need to also build. We need to have those who are coming to disrupt our national peace understand that we have the capacity to defend ourselves. And we can give in equal measure the same sort of nonsense that they are feeding to us. And nobody is going to cross Nigeria's sovereign territory to foment trouble without severe consequences.